Gridiron Fanatics. Glad you could join us again for the off-season edition of Gridiron Gab Pro Style, where we gab about all things pro football, from the scoops of the regular season to the scores of the postseason and the picks in the off-season. Let's start gabbing.
The autumn winds move like the thunderous waves of Neptune's sacred palace. And here, amongst the blackened soil, lies the ragged hands, worn, torn, and callous. They await with cunning and vicious prowess, for the warriors have returned.
Come on, Dutch! Don't do it! Woo! No way! Woo! 85! Crying out loud! You're making me, you're driving me nuts!
But behold,
Welcome back, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us again on this off-season edition, and it has been jam-packed. If you guys watched my quarterback show, I am now doing my running back show. And guys, for a market that is watered down salary-wise, there have been some really good moves made out here. And I'm just going to be honest with you. This has shocked me. The first one I want to talk about is a team that, in my opinion, is just absolutely they're all in. I hate to say it like this, but they are all in. And that is the Houston Texans, who, in my opinion, of all the running backs, I know a lot of people are going to say the Saquon. To me, this move by the Houston Texans signing Joe Mixon, and they just officially signed him to, I'm sorry, guys, I'm getting it pulled up here. While it's pulling up, you guys, I was just absolutely floored when the Houston Texans made this deal, because as good as Singletary was last year, a lot of these guys that they have, they're good players. They just don't have what Joe Mixon brings to the table. And the issue that I have with this whole notion that Joe Mixon is too expensive or too pricey, I just don't agree with that. I think ultimately what you have to look at when it comes to the running back position now is do they have the ability to be a weapon? Or do they have the ability to be what I like to call more than just a running back? And the Texans not only did they make this deal, but they gave him a 3-year, $27 million extension, which is $13 million guaranteed. Now, the relevance to that, guys, is this. The Texans are trying to get a guy that's explosive out of the backfield and a home run hitter. And for all of what Callahan got his props from, for being the coordinator and so on and so forth, he did not utilize Joe Mixon to his max.
What a dumbass!
You heard me. And that, to me, that was a lot of the reason why Cincinnati lost in the AFC title game 2 years ago, and why they lost in the Super Bowl.
Bruh.
Yeah, you got to run the ball some.
it's official. You suck.
So I believe that if Houston can get this guy, and he is doing the two things he does best, which is run the football and catch the football. Can you imagine if they get this game breaker and then they draft a top-notch wide receiver? CJ Stroud, look out. I don't want to harp too much on that, but I just see Houston ain't playing around. They've got their quarterback, D'Amico Ryans, in that group. They're doing what they do. They are doing what they do. They are putting this team together. They believe in CJ Stroud, and they are getting the weapons that he needs. And they're getting some defensive players too. Looking at another one that really just kind of, I don't want to say baffled me, but then I'm wondering, the Bears took DeAndre Swift. They gave him 3 years, $24 million. And I'm kind of like, why? I mean, there's no reason to get this guy. I mean, don't get me wrong, he was pretty good in Philly, but that just kind of goes to show you. Miles Sanders was pretty good the year he came. And now the same thing with DeAndre Swift. He was pretty good in Detroit because the Lions were a good offensive line. Same thing when you have that Philadelphia offense. There's a lot of space when you're running that type of offense. And that offensive line Philly had was pretty good. So that was kind of one that kind of made me scratch my head and go, no. The Commanders signing Austin Ekeler. Now, again, Commander fans, listen. I told you guys that you guys like Gibson and these other, Robinson. But the thing is, you need an Ekeler. A guy who has a nose for the end zone. And possibly with a new quarterback coming in, you're going to need it. You're going to need a guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield. And you got a good deal. 2 years, darn near $11.5 million. Ekeler still got some stuff left in the tank, guys. I'm telling you, Commander fans, you're going to be happy. I know you guys like Brian Robinson. I get it. I totally understand. But you guys have a lot of cap space. You get a guy like Ekeler who has a nose for the end zone. You're going to not regret this pick. Washington Commander fans, look up. I know you're still upset about the Howell deal, but this deal with Ekeler is a good one. And worst case scenario, you're out of it in 2 years. It doesn't cost you anything. Derrick Henry signing with the Baltimore Ravens for 2 years, $16 million.
Outstanding. Well done.
Now, this is a nightmare for the NFL. Now, I'll tell you why. Because it's hard enough to stop Derrick Henry. And I get it. He's right there at 30. I get it. And Father Time is undefeated. But Derrick Henry's a nightmare. And you literally have to cheat with Lamar Jackson. Now, here's the thing. I get it. And see, this is why Lamar Jackson can't be the MVP, because he has to beat you with his legs and not your arm. If you want a scrambling type guy, and what's going to happen is your defensive teams are going to get this. He's going to rack up a lot of points and yards during the regular season. And it's just like you hear all the analysts that say, oh, he's great in the regular season, me referring to Lamar Jackson. He ain't able to do it in the playoffs because you got a defensive coordinator who's saying, hey, look, we don't have to play a certain style for 17 games. It's win or go home. And you see these three safety formations that are now coming up with Lamar Jackson. Yeah, it's gonna be great in the regular season. You might roll through everybody. But here's the problem. What are you gonna do when the playoffs come? What are you gonna do when the playoffs come? You got to throw the football out, Lamar. You can't keep saying the same old excuse about, oh, I ain't got no weapons. You had OBJ and couldn't do nothing with him. You had to get a guy like a Zay Flowers who can just run past anybody.
Bruh.
Anybody can play with Zay Flowers. The kid's got speed, and more speed. At some point, it's not the receivers, it's you. But I'm not going to harp on that. What I'm going to harp on is Derrick Henry going to Baltimore is going to make this offense a nightmare, because you got to cheat and hope that you're not getting beat by Mark Andrews or Zay Flowers over the top. So, it is what it is. I mean, as I said, this is just another way of saying that Lamar Jackson just can't get it done with his arm. And the next one is Josh Jacobs to the Packers. I'm trying to figure. I think this one was a cap move, because I think they were going to save like $8-9 million, if I recall correctly, on Aaron Jones. And Aaron Jones was getting a big piece of the pie this year, and whereas you got Josh Jacobs at $12 million, and Aaron Jones has been hurt a lot. Now Josh Jacobs has too, which is kind of perplexing why they would go this route. And then you got A.J. Dillon, who's sitting out there a free agent. I love A.J. Dillon, and I would love to see my Carolina Panthers snatch him up. Deontay Foreman's on the market still. These are big physical running backs that can change your offense. They're not going to break open, 60-yard touchdowns, but they're going to keep defenses pounded and tired. And so I see what the Packers are going at, but I don't. I guess the only thing I can say is I understand why they did this, being that they didn't want to pay Aaron Jones whatever they were paying him. But I don't know if this was smart. I would have went for Austin Ekeler. I would have tried to jump the Commanders on that one. He fits more of what you want to do. So, And then the one that is up for debate with the tampering is the Saquon Barkley. First of all, Giants fans, stop the whining about he's a traitor. The Eagles ante up the dough. You didn't. You didn't franchise him. You didn't do anything. Blame your organization, Giants fans. Stop throwing hate at this man. He wanted to retire a Giant. Nope, you didn't want it. Your organization failed him. Every single time something like this happens, you got to go with what the player wanted. He didn't sit there and say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it. He got franchise tag last year. No fairness to him. He signed with where the money went. Look, 3 years, $37 million. Getting paid $12 million a year. No need to sulk and groan about it, Giants fans. Blame your organization. They're the ones paid Daniel Jones $40 million.
Not funny, Ed. Hey, shut up!
But guys, this is the thing. When we talk about running backs, you have to learn to evaluate them based on what they can do. There are some guys that are like Ekeler, same level as Christian McCaffrey. He is a weapon. Derrick Henry is a weapon. Saquon Barkley, a weapon. These are guys that are weapons. You can't pay them like running backs. If these guys can run routes, get separation from linebackers, and have hands like wide receivers, stop considering them running backs. I'm giving you fans a taste of what the market shouldn't be. People need to understand that there are running backs that are weapons and there are just plain Jane running backs. Plain and simple. If you got a guy that can catch that ball out of the backfield and make plays, and he's a very effective runner, i.e. Christian McCaffrey, i.e. Austin Ekeler, i.e. Derrick Henry, i.e. Saquon Barkley, and do it at an elite level?
Outstanding.
Weapon, not running back.
Damn, I'm good.
But let's go through it again. Notables: Clyde Edwards-Helaire, A.J. Dillon, Deontay Foreman, and J.K. Dobbins, all still free agents. DJ Dallas signed with the Cardinals. Antonio Gibson, former Commander, signed with the Patriots. Zach Moss signed with the Cincinnati Bengals. Head scratcher. Gus Edwards signs with the Chargers. Devin Singletary signed with the New York Giants.
What a dumbass!
DeAndre Swift signs with the Chicago Bears. Austin Ekeler signs with the Commanders. Tony Pollard, the Tennessee Titans.
Dumb shit! Dumb shit!
Derrick Henry, Baltimore Ravens. Josh Jacobs, Green Bay Packers. And finally, Saquon Barkley with the Philadelphia Eagles. And there is some tampering claims going on. Let's stop this. It's a waste of time. But guys, let me know what you think. I'll go to my Facebook and hit me up at Gridiron Gab Pro Style. Also join the Facebook page if you want to get updates on the things that I'm doing. I'm still continuing my 1.0 evaluation of each team, guys. I'm just going through all of the chaos, which is the off season. Also, go to the YouTube channel of Gridiron Gab Pro Style and comment, and don't forget like and subscribe, you guys. A lot of you guys are liking the show, watching the show, and you're not subscribing. So if you like the content, do me a favor and hit me up, like the show, and subscribe. And also, go to my Instagram at Mr. CeeLo and tell me what you like. See what other things I'm involved in, what other shows I'm involved in. But until the next time, you guys, same Gab channel, same Gab platform.
But behold, there is a warm breeze that comes from the west. The blazing sounds of victory fuel their everlasting quest. It is a call to arms, for they are here. An army that has the will to challenge and the will to dare.